Messages 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Whatever you think about America, the one thing I think is probably true is that much of the world looks at this country as a land of opportunity. And whether that opportunity is a false promise or a real promise, I'll leave that up to you to decide. But it is true that it is a perception of many people in the world, and they will come here from their country because they want a better life. I was listening to an interview yesterday with a young man who is now the owner of a restaurant company that makes tacos and things like that. And he's got 400 employees. And when he was 17, he left Mexico. I think he went to Denver, Colorado, and opened up a little tiny taco stand. Did not speak English at all. Had to learn it, and it wasn't easy for him. And he built it, and he became something. So the land of opportunity that was promised to him, or not promised, but that he perceived, became a reality. I mean, he really did take advantage of the opportunities that are here. And it was just a wonderful story of a guy who, it wasn't always easy, but he was able to make something of himself. And the guy who was interviewing said, why? Why did you do this? He said, because I wanted to build my parents a house. Oh. They didn't even have a house. They lived in a shack down in the Yucatan Peninsula. So let's speak to Dulcelina Moore. She is an entrepreneur. That was the show, by the way. It was yesterday. It was the entrepreneur show that we have on Sundays. Her book is called On the Road to Victory, One Struggle as Immigrants in America. This is her memoir, getting 5-star reviews on Amazon. Let's say hello to Dulcelina. Good morning, Dulcelina.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you?
I'm in Miami, Florida.
In Miami?
Nice. Yes.
When did you immigrate from Costa Rica?
Yes, 1980.
1980. Oh
yes.
my God! Could you speak English at that time?
I spoke English, but I spoke the Jamaican English. So when I got here, nobody could understand me.
Okay. You still have a little bit of a Jamaican accent. Sounds like.
Yes.
Well, thank you for writing the book. So, what was your experience as an immigrant? Was it hard to do?
Although my mother was here, it was hard because you're leaving your whole family behind and you come in to a place where I envision to be the biggest country in the world.
Yeah. And why did you come here? Because your mother was here or because you saw opportunity?
No, I wanted the opportunities to get a big opportunity to pursue things what I wanted to better my life and the life of my family. And
what was what did you bring to your, what are you an entrepreneur in? What is your business?
Well, right now, aside from writing, basically just my book, and I have my own publishing company.
Oh, okay, excellent. And was that not possible to do in Costa Rica?
When I came, it was not just about writing a book. Writing the book is just the latest venture I've engaged in. I worked for the federal courthouse for 20 years. I had to go to school and get a career in criminal justice. I had to learn to read and write English because being from a Spanish country, my education was in Spanish, so it was starting all over again in the U.S.
Oh, wow, you're a pretty lady. I just found your picture.
Thank you.
I went to look at your picture because your company is called Four Eyes Publishing. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's Four Eyes? Oh, because there's two of you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you wore eyeglasses. I didn't. Tashia is it Tashia? Tasha?
Tasha.
Oh, she's a pretty lady too. So the two of you wrote. Did she immigrate also?
No, she immigrated by way of pregnancy because I was pregnant with her when I came. I was 7 months pregnant.
She's your daughter?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, you don't look like you could be mother-daughter. You look like sisters or something.
I hear that all the time, but yeah, she's the baby.
Oh, she's a baby. Oh my gosh. Okay, so she was born here.
Yes.
Ah, okay, all right. So what was it like? How did you arrive? And where did you arrive? Did you arrive right in Miami?
I arrived in Miami via plane to my mother. She was already here from back in the 70s, so she's at the station.
Okay. And so what was the first thing you did when you landed here? What did you think when you first landed here?
I thought it was beautiful, but to my surprise, the same day I came in was the day they released all of the Mariel from Cuba.
Oh, the boat lift.
Yes.
Oh.
That was a shocker.
How did that affect you?
Oh my God, I was instead of panic, because it was so many thousands of people. I felt like the United States was being invaded, was being attacked.
Well, you went to a good area. I mean, if you speak Spanish, Miami is probably the best area you can go to.
Yes, but it was a little bit tough too, because you had to be very grounded and separate yourself from the Hispanic if you wanted to learn English.
So tell me about what your life is like now, and then let's fill in the blanks. How is your business today?
My business is good. As a matter of fact, we started out the Four Eyes Publishing when I published this book, and I have the Spanish version also. I have two: the English version of the book, the Spanish version, and now we're about to work on to the audio version of both books. And people are coming to us because the quality of the book, all of the work that we put into it, other friends and family want us to publish book, but we want to kind of hold back a little bit and get things real settled, because we're doing other things before I start taking on other projects and taking in other books from other individuals.
Yeah, you got to take it one step at a time. But once that starts happening for you, you will start to see so many things open up. I know a few people who started publishing companies that did exactly that same thing. So, do you know what? I can read Spanish a little bit. I can't like if I listen to somebody speaking Spanish at the store, I have a hard time understanding them. But if I have it in writing in front of me, I can understand it.
But it all depends. If I'll be honest with you, if it's a person who speaks very good English, Colombia is a good country. Central America are good countries, and there are others. Mexico is pretty good too. You usually can get them. If you get in Miami, it's a little bit more different because you have a lot of slang in the Spanish, so it's kind of hard to keep up for someone learning.
Oh, really?
Yes. It makes a difference, the country. It would definitely make a difference.
I really admire your skills with money, because you relay in your book that when you and your husband got married, you were spending money that way, but then you weren't going to go on a honeymoon because you couldn't afford that. You needed to stay on your budget.
Yes, and believe me, to this day, I'm still like that. I still pack lunch. I still pack my lunches. My kids always tell me, Ma, if someone should ever stop you, it's going to be ridiculous, because you always dress like this big, wealthy person, but always skimming in the way you spend your money. But you have to be frugal if you want to make things happen and put your money towards things that's more important.
Yeah. So tell me about your mom. How did your mom end up in Miami?
You know what? It was interesting. Oh, my gosh. Let me summarize it for you. She worked for an individual for 3 years in New York, relocated to Miami with this employer because she promised her she would give her a residency. So she moved to Miami. That's why she wound up in Miami.
And what was her
employer?
But was she born in Costa Rica?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what was her immigration story harder than yours, or just as hard?
You know, hers was horrendous.
Because why? What happened?
Because the first time she came to the U.S. was by, I talked about it in chapter 1, she came to repay money. Her brother sent money, $700 to Costa Rica to bring one of the sisters to the U.S., and the person she gave the money to do the paperwork for the sister spent it.
Oh no.
Yes. So my mother felt because he entrusted her with the money, her brother, she was compelled to pay him back. So she came to the United States to work, to California at that time, to work and pay him back the $700.
Oh, my gosh.
And at the end of each chapter, you have a lesson learned, and one of the lessons that stood out for me was, in America, people respect you when you stand up for yourself, and that's very profound. That hits home.
Yeah.
Am I right to say that?
Yeah, that's true.
You are. Very true.
Yeah, you got to stand up for yourself. And if you stand up for yourself, then everybody else will help you too, you know?
But you know what the interesting, my kids, them always tell me that I never been fair for them. They thought so when I was raising them. They don't think so anymore. That I always treated them like little adults, like little
right.
people.
Good for you. Yeah.
Oh, me too. Me too with my two children.
They would come to me and say, the teacher said they cannot be in the school band. I say, why? I don't know, but go back and find out. And I would have them like a little attorney going back and forth, and I would let them go until the point where I know they couldn't go anymore, and then I would step in.
Right.
Excellent.
So what do you think about the immigration debate that we have in this country? Was it hard to follow the rules that you followed? Are you a citizen now?
I am a citizen.
So was it hard to do?
Yes, but let me say something. Everything for me, speaking from my upbringing, like you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. That's how we was raised. If you come to America, you have to learn to speak English and abide by the rule of the American because you are in their country. You visit in their home. That's how I see it. That's how we was raised. So
right.
That's the problem. You don't go to a person's house and tell them what you want to eat. You eat what they serve you.
Well, look, the people who are coming across the border in Mexico, are they? It seems like they're from Central America. Are they? And they're fleeing. We know this for a fact. They're fleeing some governments that are really bad. So in some cases, they probably have no choice but to leave. So what are your thoughts about the situation over there?
Let me tell you, this is such a difficult situation because, again, the United States has been candid over the year to open up their borders and the doors and allow people to come in. We know they cannot take in everybody. We know they cannot take in everybody. I think the biggest problem right now is perhaps even like with the wall, my biggest problem is just perhaps the process. It's kind of hard to see kids them into jail and being separated by their parents. At the end of the day, this government is strong enough, which I know they're going to work out something.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope you're right.
Your book spans 3 generations, and I think the comparisons for each generation is phenomenal.
Of course. I have my mom who came, almost 40, 50 years ago, and she went through a whole lot of struggles coming to this country. She came one time, they sent her back, she come back again, and they sent her back, and she was very perseverant. She never stopped persevering until she got here. And some of the things then, what I discovered in writing the book, one of them is when she was turned back once from MIA, Miami International Airport, and she was sent to spend the night at the home of one of the officers. I think, yes, one of the officers took her home that day to put her on an airplane the next day.
What?
And yes, I talk about that in chapter 1. Could you imagine a female going into the house of a male? Luckily, or blessed for her, he was a married man with family. What if he wasn't?
Yeah, really? Oh my gosh, yeah, that is crazy. So, were you faced with any pressure? I'm guessing you were dating age. Were you dating age when you first moved here?
When I came here, I was married.
You were already married, okay.
I was married. I was having difficulty with my marriage. Was one of the reasons why I came.
Okay.
Within a year of being my husband being here, we separated, and then a year later we divorced.
Oh, okay.
And I was very focused because after I divorced, all I wanted was, like, I have my freedom now.
Yeah.
To go head on to get an education. I know I have 2 kids. I got to fend for them. I have to be able to help them and provide for them because in a divorce, you never know how things are going to turn out, although he was an outstanding father. But for my benefit, I was prepared and just did school. I was able to help him to help my children and have a better life. And together, we did just that.
We watched a movie called The Big Sick, and this was about a guy who immigrated from Pakistan, and well, actually his family immigrated from Pakistan, and he was more Americanized and fell in love with a white girl, and his family wasn't so happy with that. But I think what I'm trying to say here is that the movie kind of helps us understand what somebody like that goes through. And I think your book helps us understand what somebody goes through also. Are you happy with that as one of the end results of people reading your book?
Yes, Actually from my daughter who wrote the preface of the book. She says, although she's basically from a family of Hispanic, grew up in a Hispanic home, she still has no clue about the immigration system. She has no clue.
Because she didn't have to go through it.
Yeah, you gotta tell about a green card now. What is that? And then if a relative was come to visit, why can't he get a job? I said, Tasha, why can't he go work with everybody else? No clue.
Yeah.
So that's what we did from a different generation. And with all of that, we talk about. She see the struggles with the family, and she's the one who encouraged me to write the book, because when she come into the house and closed the door, she was fully Hispanic. When she got outside, she was fully American. So she embraced both cultures 100%.
And that's really not that different than, like in my parents' generation. My own mother was 3 years old when her family moved here from Germany. So they had the same, in her family, they were all speaking German, and then she'd go to school and everybody spoke English. You know, it was kind of the same thing. And I guess that's just the immigrant story throughout the last 100 or more years.
And it's fascinating because we all have one. We all have one, but it's just who is going to take out the time to share it. And there is none better than the other because everybody have a different twist. But everybody has some hard time, some period of adaptation, some period when you question yourself, oh my God, should I have stayed home? When I went When I went through the period of the riots in Miami, I'm like, And in apartment by myself while my mom is working, I said, no, I should have stayed home. Maybe I should have stayed home. You know?
Yeah.
And it seems like you embraced everybody's talents. I mean, you had Oscar Sr., and he was a muralist, and he was praised for his talent. And then he was remembered after he died.
To this day. You don't want to see when May comes and April comes. This guy has been dead over 20 years, and they still honor him because his mural art is all throughout Miami. One of the best artists they have in Miami.
So how did you hold on to your drive, your passion to become successful and to keep moving forward? How did you not become discouraged?
You know what? Is that we have this lady's addition to the family who just characterize my brothers and sisters as electric. She said, you all are wired up. You all are. I will laugh, but it's true. My brother just had surgery the other day. I just went and visited him yesterday, my baby brother, as he's in there planning to make a kitchen for my sister. Because you're sitting there, but you're just wired up. You always have to be doing something. My daughter called me from Costa Rica. She's vacationing, coming back tomorrow. She's just celebrating our 1 year anniversary.
Aww.
And she said, we should start a master class. We just like that. We always have something on the horizon, 24/7. 24/7. And the thing that what we want is nothing that's easily reachable. That's the crazy thing. You don't want to make the world another planet if we could.
Yeah. Costa Rica's a beautiful place too, though, right?
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
You also praise the United States military in your book as far as Oscar Jr. is concerned.
Yes. When he was moving forward in school, I said, we're going into the military. He tells me I cannot run his life. I said, you want to bet? Yeah. You want to bet? So he came and I said, I'm going to be just as nice to you, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to pick which branch you want to go into, because you don't want me to pick.
One of the lessons learned is men planned and God disappoints. Oh my gosh. Sometimes, I mean, that's not always true, right?
You get up on you. But you know, talking about man plan and God disappoint, that's where the title of the book comes about. You haven't asked me, but I got to share this with you. This is a saying my mother says every day, and the road to victory. So if you call her and you say, no, ma, I had this interview and believe it was a traffic jam and I have the hardest time getting there, and you know she would just tell you, and the road to victory. It's always, yes, she will tell you automatically. Anytime you're going to do something big, something is going to be blocking your way.
Oh, my.
That's true.
Yes.
That is true.
Think about it. And that black in your way is to determine how bad you want it.
How bad you want it. Oh, my gosh. I think you're absolutely right about that. Let's see. You sent me a copy of the book. Look at this beautiful picture. Let's see. Dulcelina, Cecilia, and Tasha. So who's Cecilia?
Cecilia is my mother.
Oh, that's your mother?
Yes.
My gosh, none of you look older than the other.
They can all be sisters.
You look all the same age. Oh, my God.
3 generations, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all these beautiful pictures. I just came across all the pictures in the book.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
So,
The pictures don't tell a story. It tell you, look what we look like when we was in Costa Rica.
Where's your dad now? Where does your dad live?
My father's still in Costa Rica.
Oh, okay. Are you close to your dad?
Yes, we go 2-3 times a year when we visit and share time with him. We just celebrated his 80th birthday 2 years ago, 1 and 3 this year.
Oh, congratulations!
Oh my gosh, you're a beautiful lady. Okay, I have a copy of the book. I would like to give it away to a listener. Call me at 622-9622. I'll take one call at random and it's yours. This one is in English, but you do have these in Spanish also, right?
Yes, está Camino a la Victoria, nuestra lucha como inmigrantes en los Estados Unidos.
There you go. I understood 2/3 of that.
And when you were writing the book and had to pull the memories from the past, how emotional was that for you?
Let me tell you, it was worse for my mother than for me. I got hung up on. I got cursed at. I got tears. I discovered the things then about her journey in the U.S. while writing the book. My family, my brother, my baby brother, read the book, and he went to church. They was telling me they had a reunion for a married couple, and they tell me that he broke down when he was telling them about what he discovered about his mother's journey here in reading his sister's book. I didn't know.
Wow.
I've affected a lot. It's very touching. Ooh.
Wow, let me give the book away. Hold on. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Hello?
Hello, you got the book. Who is this?
Julia Revering, Revering.
Okay, do you know where
and I'm in Ocala, Florida.
Okay, well, do you know where we are?
Yeah, Paddock Mall.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, the book will be waiting for you with your name on it.
Okay. And what time should I come down?
Well, the best time is before 3. If you can make it here before 3, that would be great.
Okay, thank you.
All right? Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. Dulcelina, the phone's lit up when I offered the book, so I think you have a hit on your hands.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's see. I found the book on Amazon, and you have a website, 4eyespublishing.com, and the book is available in English and Spanish. And also, do you have the audiobook in both languages?
No, I'm working on that one.
Okay. All right, that's to come.
And the book is on the road to victory.org.
All right, well, promise me 2 things. One, that you'll come back with the next project of yours.
Okay.
It might be the audiobook. That's okay. The second promise I would like is for you to visit us in the studio one day. You're not that far away.
Oh, definitely.
All right. And I need to learn some more Spanish. I'm gonna ask you to tell me a few things too. So, Dulcelina, thank you for being on the show with us today. That was fun.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll be right back.
Are you a medical provider that doesn't like to settle for the same boring scrubs? Scrub Paradise in Ocala has a wide selection of top brand scrubs with embroidery available